pleasant afternoon to everyone. I am Judia Stole and we are the Group 2 and we will discuss the topic about the tourism impact on the economy. First, I will introduce to you my group mate, Mr. Salim Daya, Ms. Erica Fernandez, and Mr. Ralph Joseph D. And I will discuss to you the introduction of our topic. Many argue that the tourism industry is the largest industry in the world, while its actual value is difficult to accurately determine. The economic potential of the tourism industry is indisputable. In fact, it is because of the positive economic impact that most destinations embark on their tourism journey. There is, however, more than meets the eye of the cases. The positive economic impacts of tourism are often not as significant as anticipated. Furthermore, tourism activity tends to bring with it unwanted and unexpected negative economic impacts of tourism. In this article, we will discuss the importance of understanding the economic impacts of tourism and what the economic impacts of tourism might be. A range of positive and negative impacts are discussed. Tourism brings with a huge economic potential for a destination that wishes to develop their tourism industry. Employment, currency exchange, imports, and taxes are just a few of the ways that tourism can bring money into a destination. In recent years, tourism numbers have increased globally at exponential rates, as shown in the World Tourism Organizational data below. Here are a few facts about the economic importance of the tourism industry globally. First, the tourism economy represents 5% of world GDP. Second, tourism contributes to 6 to 7% of total employment. Third, international tourism ranks fourth after fuels, chemicals, and automotive products in global export. Fourth, the tourism industry is valued as $1 trillion a year. Fifth, tourism accounts for 30% of the world's export of commercial services. Sixth, tourism accounts for 6% of total export. 7. 1.4 billion international tourists were recorded in UNWTO in 2018. 8. In over 150 countries, tourism is one of the 5 top export earners. In short, tourism is an example of economic policy pursued by governments because it brings in foreign exchange, it generates employment, it creates economic activity. Building and developing a tourism industry, however, involves a lot of initial and ongoing expenditure. The airport may need expanding. The beaches need to be regularly cleaned. New roads may need to be built. All of this takes money, which is usually a financial outlay required by government.
Positive impacts. In tourism, this means that the money and the resources that are used for one purpose may not be available to be used for another purposes. Some destinations has been to spend more money on tourism than on providing education or healthcare for the people who live there. As I explained, most destinations choose to invest their time and money into tourism because of the positive economic impacts that they are hoped to achieve. There are a range of possible and positive economic impacts. I will explain the most common economic benefits of tourism below. One of the biggest benefits of tourism is the ability to make money through foreign exchange earning. Tourism expenditures generate income to the host economy. The money that the country makes from the tourists can be reinvested in the economy. Some currencies are worth more than the others, and so some countries will target tourists from the particular areas. Tourism is one of the top 5 export categories for as many 83% countries as the main source of the foreign exchange earning for at least 38% of the countries. First, contribution to the government revenues. Tourism can help to raise the money it then invested elsewhere by the government. 2 ways that this money is accumulated. First, direct contribution. Direct contribution are generated by the taxes on income from the tourism employment and tourism business and things such as the departure taxes. Taxes differ considerably between the destination. Next is the indirect contribution that comes from the good and the service supplied to the tourists which are not directly related to the tourism industry. For example, a tourist may buy food at the local supermarket. The supermarket is not directly associated with the tourism. But if it wasn't for tourism, its revenues wouldn't be as high because the tourism would not shop there.
Employment generation. There are two types of employment in tourism industry. Number 1, direct employment. Includes jobs that are immediately associated with the tourism industry, including hotel staff, restaurant staff, or taxi driver, etc. Number 2, indirect employment. Include jobs which are not technically based in the tourism industry but related to the tourism industry. It's hard to say how many people are employed in tourism industry, both directly and indirectly. Contribution to local economies. All fundraise, whether formally or informally, have the potential to benefit the local economy. Money will be provided to locations that will benefit the local community. The most if sustainable tourism is provided. There could be poor tourism initiative or volunteer tourism projects. Money made by tourism personnel will be spent in the local community, and the government may reinvest it in public services. The multiplier effect is what we call it. The multiplier effect is when spending in one place results in economic gains in another. The tourism can boost a destination's economy in sectors that appears unconnected to tourism but are actually linked someplace in the economic system. Development of the private sector. The tourism industry's private sector has continued to bloom, and having a firm in private sector can be extremely profitable, resulting in positive economic impact of tourism. While many of the businesses you will encounter are multinational, internationally owned companies which contribute towards economy leakage. Many of them are also owned by members of the local community. This has been even more true in recent years, as the sharing economy has grown in popularity with services like Airbnb and Uber encouraging local company growth in terms of how they manage the growth of private sector. In tourism, every destination is unique.
Negative economic impact. Leakage. Economic leakage in tourism is when money spent does not remain in the country but end up elsewhere. Kapag sinabi na leakage is amount that is lost when something leaks, kagaya ng pera na pumapasok sa government na galing sa mga tourists na bumibisita dito sa atin. Hindi natin alam kung saan ba talaga nilalagay ng government yung natatanggap nilang pera na galing sa turismo. Kung dun ba sila kumukuha ng pera para pagandahin ng isang destination or pinipera na lang ba nila? Gumagastos tayo ng pera para sa sarili nating bansa, pero napupunta lang ito sa wala. Second, infrastructure cost, another negative impact. Gaya ng mga nagtatrabaho at may mga business, nagbabayad sila ng tax sa gobyerno na imbis na mapunta sa education at health ng mga mamamayan, ang ginagawa naman nila ay mas pinapaganda pa yung mga infrastructure, gaya ng airport, roads, dito sa atin sa kahit na ayos pa naman babaguhin nila, na alam naman nila na napakamagastos. Kahit na alam na dapat mas mailagay muna nila yung pera sa pang-education at health kasi nga mas kailangan ng tao yun. Increase in prices, one of the most obvious negative impact. Nagtataas sila ng mga price kahit na nasa local area pa. Gaya na lang kapag hindi naman maganda yung service na binibigay mo sa isang tourist, pero yung price ganun pa din. Gaya sa isang souvenir, dapat yung affordable lang kasi hindi naman lahat ng tourist ay mabibili ito. Ibabase pa din dapat natin kung tama ba yung pagtataas na ginagawa natin sa isang souvenir or sobra na. Paano mabebenta yung isang item kung sobrang taas ng presyo nito? Hindi ito magkiklik kahit na gustong itong bilhin ng tourist, hindi niya ito mabibili dahil sa presyo nito. Foreign ownership and management. Last negative impact as enterprise in the developed world become increasingly expensive. Many businesses choose to go abroad. Ang example nito ay gaya na lang ng Jollibee at McDo na meron na din sa ibang bansa. Yung kinikita nila sa ibang bansa ay mas malaki kaysa dito sa sariling bansa natin. Nag-export sila ng large proportion of their income to the country where they are based. Hindi na lang sila dito nagtatayo ng business nila dahil alam naman nila na maliit lang din ang kinikita nila kapag nagtayo sila dito. Again, we are the Group 2. Thank you and have a nice day.